Okay, I'm live. That's better. The other one, I don't like when I'm all white. It's sort of like just weird. Anyway, hello. Today is March 3rd. It is March. And a bunch of people have asked me to retell my escape story. I made a 10-part series after being out for 10 years. I was in Scientology for 30 years. I woke up in 2000 and I escaped out. And I made a 10-part series about how I got in, how I woke up, and how I escaped out. And that's on Magoo, on this website, on this YouTube site. And you can just type in escape and see it. But anyway, I'm going to try to tell it in a new unit of time, like now, and how I felt then, to kind of give you the comparison. And we'll see if I've changed. Maybe I haven't. I don't know. But I think so. Um, okay, so first of all, how I got in was I read a book. One of my friends in high school, I was a hippie, went back to college. My friend in high school gave me a Dianetics book, and I guess I should show you the Dianetics book. You've probably seen it, but anyway, I have one of the original Dianetics books somewhere. I have it because I used to do Dianetic Book One seminars, which Dianetics is called Book One. And so anyway, they gave me the book. I was in college. I thought, I don't want to do this. I wanted to be a doctor, but then I read about clear, I thought, well, I could help clear people, and that's about as good as being a doctor. Not really at all, but I thought so at the time. So anyway, that's what happened. So I read the book, had an argument with my dad about going to bed. He said, "Get to bed." I said, "Dad, it's 10:30. I'm in college." He said, "Get to bed. It's our morals or no school." And I thought, okay, fine. He and I had kind of been, doing this as me as a teenager. And so I wrote on my mirror, "Your morals are no school, screw you." And I packed my bags in Chicago and hitchhiked from Chicago to Los Angeles, which, if you're not in this country, it's a long way for a young girl. I was 22 years old, I think. I was really young. But that's what I did. I hitchhiked, and my friend said, "Yeah, just ask for John Hilderbrand. He's on the big course." Anyway, I've made a whole video about that, and that's another thing. I'll do a different video about that. About just, but in a nutshell, there's a great book called Blink, which I highly recommend for everyone to read. And um, oh, good, I have somebody listening. Thank you. OBG Foster. Hi, hi, hi. Thank you. Um, I forgot about that this is live stream. That's right. So anyway, I'm telling about waking up. My friend gives me the Dianetics book. I hitchhiked from Chicago to Asheville, which is a long way to hitchhike. Hey, Jenna. And so I hitchhiked to Asheville. My friend said, "Ask for John Hildebrand. He's on the big course." So I asked for John Hildebrand, and they go, "You can't talk to him. He's on course." And I'm like, okay. And I already don't like this. It's like they had these huge pictures of Hubbard back then all around. And I'm like, God, it kind of looks like Hitler, because you're listening to the whole Escape series. Loved it. Okay, cool. Well, anyway, I'm retelling it. So anyway, for me, he looked like Hitler. They're marching around in their Sea Org uniforms. I'm a hippie. I'm like, I really don't like the military. I've been fighting them for, 2 years against the Vietnam War. Okay, so, things are not rolling along. The chick says you can't talk to him. And so I say, okay, fine. And so I hitchhike. She says, he'll call you at 10:30. And I think, I'm a hippie at this point. And they always say they're going to do stuff and they never do it. So I think it's not going to happen. So I hitchhike out to the valley because my friend said, go see this guy in the valley. You can stay there. So we get stoned and we're like laughing and goofing around thinking, yeah, the guy's going to call you. And at 10:30, he calls me and I go, it's the guy. It's like I'm totally freaked out. It's like, it's the guy. That's exactly who it is. And it's one of those things where I wasn't expecting it. And he goes, okay, this is John Hilderbrand. I'll be out there in 10 minutes. And I'm like, okay. And again, we're like totally stoned. So I'm like, all right, he's going to drive all the way out here to see you. And we just didn't think it would happen. And he does. At like, I think 10:45, it's like knock, knock, knock. And I open the door and I'm like, well, hello. And so he says, why don't you come with me? So we get in his car, we drive all the way back to Asho, which was very smart of him. Because back in those days, great, hi, I'm happy people are coming on here. That's wonderful. Hi. I'm sorry if I'm not saying hi to you individually, but I'm trying to tell this story about the beginning of my escape series. So I meet John Hildebrand. He comes out. He drives me back to American St. Hill, which is on Temple Street at the time. And he parks next to it and he goes in and gets a 6-pack of beer. And so I think, they seemed really robotic to me back then, as they do now, even though the people were really a lot of fun. But back in the old days, this was 1969, before a lot of you were even born or even a thought. So he goes and gets a 6-pack of beer. And I think, well, he can't be all bad. He drinks beer, right? And not that I'm a big drinker or anything, but I was a hippie. So it was just sort of like I didn't want to be around these super straight people in their uniforms and shit. So we talk and I go, okay, why do they have those giant pictures of L. Ron Hubbard? And he goes, don't worry about it. Here, have a beer, And so we're drinking beer. We're sitting in the car. A bunch of people are coming out from course. They all used to stand around after course and talk, right? All the auditors. And he says, well, what got you interested in, doing Scientology? And this is true to this day. The only thing I wanted to do was help people. That was it. I didn't even really care about me going clear or me becoming an OT or any of that shit. I didn't care. I just wanted to help other people. And I thought, well, being an auditor, I could help other people. That would work. It sounded like it would work. So I said, that's all I want to do is be an auditor. And he goes, all right, well, you know what? He handled all my little considerations, like they're in their uniforms, and he said, that's just the Sea Org. That's not us. We're auditors. They're running the organization, and they used to call it an org back then. They never called it a church. It was an org for organization, right? So I thought, okay, so the big pictures are no big deal because they don't give a shit about that. The uniforms, that's a Sea Org. That's not really them. And so he said, let's go out and talk to the auditors and just see what you think. So I said, okay. So we go out, and I to this day, and I know I've said this 1,000 times, but it just still blows my mind. I mean, this is like, I've been out 23 years, and it still blows my mind that I can remember the second I turned off my critical thinking. And to anyone listening, because it can happen. It doesn't sound like it's that easy, but it is. All that happened was I met a bunch of auditors, and I thought, I love these people. And of course, they all had their own lingo, and it was very hip, and I was a hippie, so I was sort of crazy anyway. And it was like, they all had this secret language that they were, well, he's this and they're that and this kind of auditor and that. And I was like, oh my God, it was just overwhelming, all the different terminology and shit. And you guys probably understand that more than anything, because most of us still use, like someone in Ireland with Anonymous in 2008 pointed out to me, many people don't use the Scientology lingo anymore, but it's how you use the English language that's weird. It's just very weird that that's probably true. So anyway, I'm trying to get back to it for many years, strip off the Scientology lingo and stuff like that. But back then it was there. And these people were all using it. And I remember thinking, I don't care what these people do. I want to be one of them. That's it. And that was me turning off my critical thinking. It was just sort of like, I don't care what these guys do. I want to be one of them. And that was the very beginning of me being in Scientology. And there is a book that I highly recommend everyone gets, and it's called Blink. And it's about your first instincts, right? And the first example they have is the Getty Center. and they had a statue there. They had it for a year, and people were studying it. And it was from either the 18th or 19th century. You know, it was like a really long time ago. And finally, this guy walks in and he goes, "You know what? That's a phony. That was never in the ground." So now they go to the guy that bought it, and they said, "Okay, what was your first instinct?" And he goes, "My very first instinct?" And they go, "Yeah, your very first instinct." And he goes, "Well, my very first instinct was it was a phony." And I know that sounds weird, but it's sort of like a man hears what he wants to hear and disregards the rest. And that's Scientology. It really is. It's like they find what you want and they go, "We can give you this." And there you go. You know, it's sort of like, okay, they've got it. Let's say, and they have a thing where they find people's buttons, right? And it's usually communication or relationships or finances. For me, it was I really wanted to help people and I didn't want to spend like 20 years in college. And so they were like, "Look, you know, you can become an auditor in like probably 4 to 6 months." And I was like, "Bingo, I'm in. That's it." You know, so they just find whatever it is that you need and they go, "We can do that." Now it's different now because they're almost like Nazis now. They're really weird and they can't talk and you know, they've got all their curtains down and they're like, you know, they've totally changed from what they were back then. Back then they were like fun, even the Sea Org were fun. I mean, I know they had a lot of you know, they a lot of bad things happened with Hubbard. They did. There's no question, but it was much better then than it is now. And so it was more fun. And so people, I thank you guys. You guys are really wonderful. Anyway, that's part one. So I'm just going to tell you that that got me in, and I'm trying to think what part two would be. Okay, I'm gonna just do this, and this is part one where I get in, I wake up, I mean, I don't wake up. I get in, I close down, really. I think I'm opening up. See, that's the tricky thing because you think you're joining a group that supports freedom, right? But the truth is Hubbard knew how to lock you in, and academics have told me this. The two worst cults are the Moonies and Scientology. And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Because this is an academic that studies cults." This was after I got out. They came to interview me. And he said, "Because Scientology builds in these traps, and so did the Moonies, where you can't talk to other people." And that was Hubbard. You know, it was called Keeping Scientology Working. And it was like, if you want to keep Scientology working and you want to go clear an OT, you have to stay on this path. That's it. If you can't stay on this path, get off, leave. You know, and that's kind of how Hubbard was back in the day. And it was like, "No, no, I want to be on this path." So right away, you're on the path. And it's like, if you're on the path, you cannot talk to anyone that is against Scientology. That's it. And to people like you now, you know, it's kind of like, it's probably hard to even imagine it that we would buy into that. But you have to remember it's 1969 before you guys were even a thought. And certainly many of you were born. Some of you were, but you know, you were probably younger. And it was just a different time. It really was. And we were all up for, you know, we'd come from being hippies. I was in San Francisco, Haight Ashbury, the whole thing, you know, it was wonderful. And then I forget who the lady's name, but I heard a tape with her talking about that time. And she said, "You know what happened? Three really great people got killed. Martin Luther King, Bobby Kennedy, and John F. Kennedy. And when those three people got killed, very close together, and we all kind of went, this was her opinion of it, but I think it's kind of true. We all went upstairs and got into our own thing. That's what happened. And I left, went back to college, read Dianetics, and thought, all right, I'll be a Scientologist. And Scientology is weird. There's no question about it. But you know what? When you're a hippie, you're weird. So it's like, hey, this is kind of weird. I mean, it's a new thing, but it's definitely weird, but it fits in. No, don't promote Trump. No, no, not on this site. Not going to happen. And um, and this isn't a political site anyway. All right, so now I got to figure out how to go up to read your comments. Oh, here we go. Here we go. I'm very new at this, and Laura is coming over, but not yet. Okay, so hi, Jenna. All right. Thank you for listening to this series. That's good. So you can let me know if you think this is okay or not. Because if it's just sort of, I really don't know. I'm trying to tell it in 2024. Um, Yep, you got it live. Okay. Hi, Tori. Love this story. Thank you, J Ham. Maya, aka Alice in Art Supply Hoarderland. Okay. Okay. Um, I'm glad to see you live. Thank you. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with a healthy hippie. No, absolutely. I mean, we had a lot of fun as hippies. I'm probably still a hippie. Um, where is that info on the escape? You just have to type it in. You're on my Tori Magoo 44. So you just go up to the search and type in escape. And it's a 10-part series that I made on how I got in, how I woke up, and how I escaped out. It's good. Um, anyway, yep, isolation and information control. That is correct. Born ancient. That is very correct. Okay, now wait a second. Don't go away, everybody. Just a second. Some kind of thing jumped up. Damn it. Okay. Yeah, don't put on political things. It's like I get different people have different things, but it's not for this site. Uh, Leah is live in Chicago. That's right. Okay, good. I went there last night and you guys were in Chicago. It was really funny. So anyway, I got to go check that out too. Um, you're doing great, Tori. Listening from Norway. Oh, you lucky dog. Oh, I love Norway. I really do. Norway is a wonderful country. It really is. I've never seen so many happy people as in Norway. And I love Norway because Andreas helped me wake up. Okay, but that's farther down the line. I'm not telling you now. I too, you were a hippie child. All right, we're searching for more to life. See, that's what the academics say because people think, oh, people that are in cults are really stupid. And they told me, they said that's one of the number one false information out there. Because actually, we've studied people that were in all different kinds of cults, and most of them have very high IQs. That's why they got in the cult. They're creative, they wanted to do something different than the regular thing that was going on. So they joined a cult. But here's the deal, most of them, you have to make sure it's not a destructive cult. And just like Scientology, it sounds so great. It's like, how could this be bad? And of course, they're not going to tell you what I'm telling you. They're not going to tell you that ever. And they're going to tell you now. I found out Christmas, this is their latest new lie about Tori Christmas. They told a brand new person she's a top secret undercover CIA agent. So don't listen to her. And that actually, talking to me and then they telling him that, he said, forget it. No, I'm not doing it. He was going to give him $5,000 and I just happened to show up. I said to my friend, let's just drive by the complex and see what's going on. And we ran into that guy. He was going to give him $5,000. I said, look, they really hate me because I knew they were going to take him inside again. And they did. And they locked him inside. They locked the doors and everything. And I said to his friend, go get him out. And he said, they locked the doors. I said, all right, call him up on the phone. So he called him on the cell phone and said, get out here. He came out. He was a really nice guy. And I said, what's going on? And he goes, well, here's my person. I was making a live Facebook video, which you can go on my Facebook, Tori Christmas, and scroll way down. It's Christmas time. But the video is still on there. And he's like, are you making a live video? And I said, yeah, but you're not on it because I don't want to put somebody on it who doesn't want to be. And he goes, no, you can put me on it. So I put him on it. And this is in present time. This was this Christmas. And he says that I'm really nuts. And he shows us the personality test, and it's like up, down, up, down. And I said, everybody's nuts per Scientology. That's how they get you in. And he goes, yeah, they want me to give them $5,000 for. I said, really? Because they usually start with $40, for the communication course. And he goes, no, they said I need auditing. And I said, okay, first of all, it's a giant scam, so don't give them $5,000. Secondly, just get out of here, because they're good at what they do, and they will keep pounding you, and you'll feel like you have to do it, and you don't. So anyway, the guards come, and they take him inside, and he comes out, and he finally leaves. And I call him the next day, and because he came out and he said, God, they really hate you. I said, I warned you. And so he and they spread lies about me all the time. They've got them on the internet. They've got all kinds of shit about me. I mean, they have tried everything with me. They have a 25-step program to muzzle Tori. That's happened since I left. Someone gave it to me. I was like, oh, Jesus, these guys never stop. Anyway, let me just check and see if you have any more questions before I end off. Okay. You've watched since 2010. That's cool. All right. Okay, Ronnie Rose. That was you were a hippie. Okay, good. Evelish, Tori, do you think Scientology will continue to exist for much longer? Unfortunately, I think, we've for years, like in 2000, early 2000, they basically were in charge of Lisa McPherson. They took her out of the hospital. You can go to lisamcpherson.org and read all about it, but she's dead, right? And most people felt like they killed her, and not intentionally killing her, but they didn't take care of her, and they didn't let her go to the hospital, and they drove her out to a Scientology doctor, and on the way she died. And so we thought, okay, that's it. It's over. This isn't going to continue. But wrong. They paid off I don't know. They paid off somebody. They changed their story. They paid off the family. It's all sealed, and the family left. That's how Scientology is. It's very sneaky. So many, many things have come about where we're like, okay, this is it. It can't go on. It does. Okay. You should tell your story, Ronnie Rose. Okay. I don't know who you're speaking to, but this is Tori Magoo 44. And if you haven't liked this video, please like it. Everyone mentions that to me to remind people to like my video, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Because I'm trying to get my subscriptions up, because Scientology hates it when my subscriptions go up. So if you can subscribe, that would be really great. And it's free. Okay, and it's sometimes we can get involved in any group that has an influential leader, and next thing, it has rules to follow. This is how a cult starts. Kind of true. You find someone you really like, and all of us I think, are guilty of this in one way or another, where we don't look behind the curtain to find out. There's a great video on computers called what's it called? The Computer Dilemma? No, it isn't. What is it? What is it called? Anyway, it's a dilemma. It's something dilemma. It's not the internet dilemma. I just forgot it. I know it. But it's on Netflix, and it's really, really good. And it talks about people getting addicted to the computer. And these are people that wrote and created Facebook, Instagram, all of these different things. And they're now off of all of those, and their family are off of all of those. So anyway, check that out. Okay, thank you. I'm really glad you guys are hanging with me. Okay, let's see. They've got those Mission Impossible buckaroos popping them up. I don't know what that is. Okay, so Ronnie Rose said they are public for 26 years. Okay, well, my sympathies. I hope they're out. Okay, I felt tortured by the church, which the fake lies and twisted mind, screwing up, introversion, and false ideas. Lost all of my idealism, has taken years to sort out the truth. Tori, your early videos helped. Thank you. I'm really glad. That's why I wasn't going to speak out. I wasn't going to make videos. I wasn't going to pick it. I wasn't going to do anything. And I even called Stacy and I said, Stacy, I want you to know I'm not going to do any of those things. And she said, Tori, we're only doing for you what we wish someone had done for us when we left the Sea Org. And they basically paid for a ticket for me to get out of LA, come to Clearwater, Florida in 2000. I'll tell you more about that because that's further on down the line. But anyway, okay, so there you go. Hello to all of you. I love you. I hope you subscribed and I hope you liked my video. And that's the end of part 1. So I will do part 2. What is today? Sunday. So probably, I think, Monday or Tuesday. We'll get it started. Anyway, we've started the escape series. So I'm going to continue this, and so each person new who goes like, how did this happen? I hope it's helping. Did it help anything? Do you guys think? You like my nails? I know they're kind of fun with this coloring. It really is. It's kind of like they glow in the dark. They don't really. They are pink, but they're not this pink. I mean, all the colors really jump out with this, which I like. I love colors. So thank you to all of you for all of your kind comments and your love, and your comments mean a lot to me. They really do. And they mean a lot to me even after, just so you know. Thank you. I'm a legendary SP. I believe that because I left in 2000. Part of it was just duh. I didn't understand the internet and I thought there were only 50 people on the internet. Scientology proved that wrong, but I'll tell you that farther down on my series. But anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. And this is your Sunday service. There you go. Follow your heart. I can't say that enough. Spread love, be kind, follow your heart, and stand up to bullies. That's my thing. That's what got me to speak out. I thought if I can help one person not get suckered into this stupid Scientology that makes it look so great, that's worth it. It's worth all the fair game that they're going to do to me, which they have done a lot. But you know what? I have helped hundreds and hundreds of people, and it's a true joy to me. It's a true honor for me to be able to help anybody. It really is. And the ironic thing is I got in Scientology, just like I said, to help people. That's why I got in. And I helped a few people, but not much. And since I've been out, I've been able to help a monumental amount of people. So isn't that ironic? It really is. I mean, to me, it is. Anyway, there you go. I'm going to end off now. And then I will talk to you soon. And we'll do the next part of the escape. All right, there you go.